How's it? Welcome to another episode of Raiders Gonna Raid alongside me. As always, the one, the only Jessinho. How are you?
Oh, waking up early for anything other than a win is not the best, especially against Burnley. But yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah. All right, so we'll kick it off. Obviously, not a good game. I keep hearing a lot of people, we dominated the first half, this, that, and the other thing. You know what? I'll save it for when I'll save it for the numbers. Let's just get into it straight away. Burned Leno. You want to take that one first? You want me to start it off? Yeah, I think I started last week. You go first.
Yeah. So, unlike a big part of the fan base that just, I think, wants to beat Jock over the head with a stick, to me, both of them are culpable for that goal. Why are you passing it to him there? You can see the field from where you're standing, so you could see the pressure. And just because somebody asks you for the ball doesn't necessarily mean that you have to give it to them. So I don't really buy the whole he had to pass it to Jaka. He didn't. It's game state. It's mental, and Leno makes these mental errors every once in a while. The difference is that we like Leno and we don't like Jaka. That being said, that doesn't mean Jaka's not at fault. He is. He did save us a couple times. Leno did make some nice saves that kept us in the game. But ultimately, we wouldn't have to be trying to stay in the game if you had not made an error 5 minutes before the end of the half. So for me, Leno gets a 3.
Wow.
To me, I just have to make a point that they're both at fault.
Yeah,
I'll give him a 4 because I'll say a 4. He's supposed to make those saves, but he's not supposed to make those errors. So
yeah,
I'll give him a 4.
That I should have just kept going. I shouldn't have let you jump back in because that just kind of said exactly what I was going to say. You get paid to make those saves, but not to make the errors. So the number was a 4 for me, and that's why, because he did it. He had one 10-bell save on I think it was Vidra that he made the save on. It was in the second half. That's an absolute 10-beller for me. But yeah, you got to be smarter with the
You're
ball.
5 minutes from halftime.
Yep. You got to be smarter. And you know what? To your point of just because he calls for it doesn't mean you should pass it to him. But since they do, the next time I'm allowed in the stadium, I'm actually going to run out on the field and I'm just going to put my hands down at my feet like, pass me the ball. Pass me the ball. I want the ball. Will you pass me the ball?
I mean, if you've ever played a sport in your entire life, you know that regardless of the game plan, you have a choice, and Arteta's not going to beat you if you wallop it down the field. He might be like, hey, let's try to play out of the back, but ultimately he'll respect you for making the right decision. That was the wrong decision to make.
Yeah, for sure.
Happy birthday, Leno.
Yeah, right. Callum Chambers. So, he didn't really affect the game that much, but for a guy coming in playing really his first meaningful minutes in a long time, I would almost say Callum Chambers might have been our best player today. I'm going to think about this and I'll have an answer by the end of the show, but Callum Chambers is going to get a 7 from me, and I promise you that's the highest number and probably the only one I'm giving out. But he gets a 7 from me. Didn't put a foot wrong. Coming back from injury, played all 90 minutes, by the way. So, Callum Chambers. There's nobody else. Callum Chambers. If I had to pick one, Callum Chambers would be my man of the match today. He's getting a 7 from me, and that's about as nice as I can be. So it's only downhill. It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, I mean, I think. I love Callum Chambers, to be honest. In the beginning, when
you're not the first woman I've heard say that, by the way.
I do. I love Callum Chambers. No, it's not because he's cute. It's because
no, I know.
I just like who he is as a player. I always thought that we were a little harsh on him just because he wasn't Carzola, he wasn't fancy, he wasn't Ozil, whatever. But he plays hard and he played well today. I think Arteta was smart to be in another a more defensively sound, bigger, stronger right back to play against this big kind of like bully ball Burnley team.
Yeah.
And he didn't really do anything wrong. He tried and he played the 90 minutes. So I'm gonna give him a 6. But that's not like, oh, he did anything bad. It's above average, good.
Yeah.
Fine.
No, I'm with you. I gave him the 7 more just because he hasn't played in a long time. So
yeah.
if at the beginning of the game you looked at the lineup before we kicked the ball and I'd have said somebody's going to make a bonehead error today, and you looked at that lineup, I think a lot of people would have said Callum Chambers just because he hadn't played in such a long time and maybe he's trying to do too much, overthink something, whatever the case may be. But at any rate,
he looked calm as a cucumber. Really,
he really did. He really did. Kept McNeil in check today. Basically stayed right with him. So pretty impressed by Callum Chambers. David Luiz. Oh, Papa Dog. Oh,
okay.
Papa Dog.
So I don't think this was a game about the center backs, to be honest. I don't think they had much to do, but I do think at certain points, because they didn't have as much protection from the midfield, they got exposed towards the end. Because it was weird because it's not like we were pushing forward for a goal, really, but we were exposed right there in between the center backs a couple times, but they did recover. I think David Luiz was a little sloppy in possession. I think he made some poor decisions on who to pass it to. But I also think that that's because we had Aubameyang and Odegaard up there. And so there's really no out ball. There really isn't. So I think he was just average. Again, I think the game was really about one big individual error and not finishing your chances. So I'm just going to give him a 5. Like I didn't really see anything but normal bad passing. Everybody was poor passing today.
Yeah.
So it was what it was,
Yeah, it gets a 5 for me because was average at best. It didn't have a lot to do. He didn't really put a foot wrong. Defensively they were a little exposed at the back in the second half. And I'll get into that a little later on. But they actually both get a 5 from me. So yeah. I'm going next with Marie. So I'll just keep it in there with Pablo Marie. They both get a 5.
It really wasn't about them, was it?
No, it really wasn't. Nope. They really didn't have much of an impact on the game at all. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so they both get a 5 for me. Kieran Tierney.
I don't know. It's like when I first thought about it, I was like, I didn't think he was that good, but I think because his level is so much higher than everybody else's that I'm more harsh on him when I don't see him playing amazing. Of course, the effort level is 100% there. He should have had an assist. He didn't really get beaten. I think going forward, he wasn't great, but going back our way, he was solid on his side. So, I mean, I think this may be harsh, but my expectations of him are really high. So I'm just gonna give him a 6. You know what I mean? Like I expect more from him, and that's really more what it is, than anything.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being harsh.
No, it's a 6 from me. He again didn't really put a foot wrong. He didn't really have much to do defensively. There were a few crosses that to me were a little off the mark, but he did have one. I mean, the one to Pepe where he just. I mean, I can still feel the breeze from Pepe swinging his leg at that ball that he missed. That was absolutely beautiful. But again, it was just he just wasn't very involved. And to be honest with you, this wasn't a game. Burnley isn't a team that you're just going to beat by crossing the ball all the time.
Yeah,
you're just not going to beat them. I mean, they're going to put 5. They're going to put 4, maybe 5 or 6 guys in the box, and you're going to try to beat them. You're going to try to go 1-on-3, 1-on-4. You're not going to. It's just not the way it's going to work. You're not going to beat them that way. So it's a 6 for me. Wasn't terrible. Just I'm going to let you have Thomas Partey, but I'm going to take Granit Xhaka first.
Okay.
Boy, oh boy. So in the NFL, when a quarterback throws an interception, sometimes you'll hear the announcer say he never saw the guy. He never saw the guy that intercepted the pass. He never saw him.
Yeah.
And I think that is exactly what happened to Granit Xhaka today. I don't think he ever saw Chris Wood standing there. He was looking at either I think it was David Luiz he was trying to pass the ball to. And it was very distracting, by the way.
I'm sorry. I'm
I'm very
sorry.
jealous right now.
I'm sorry. I just love
But
the movie.
no, I know. I'm not mad
Okay, go
about
ahead.
it. Yeah, Granit Xhaka. I just don't think you ever saw Chris Wood standing there. The play in general, they have to be smarter. Both Leno and Granit Xhaka. Was not overly impressed with Granit Xhaka really from any standpoint today. That's a pretty egregious error, and I'm not. We'll get into the ref and the handball and all that later. But the fact is, good teams don't rely on that. Good teams overcome that and still win the game. Granit Xhaka gets a 2 from me today because he did absolutely nothing exceptional except cost us 2 more points.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think he was okay. The American commentary was saying that he looked like he was trying to make up or show Burnley something. That in itself is an issue. You shouldn't overcompensate because you're trying to show anything. If that's the case, then, he shouldn't be doing that. Just play your game, But I think it was okay before the mistake. But ultimately, what we're seeing is that these mistakes are coming fast. They're coming once every 3 games, once every 4 games. The Leicester game, he was involved in the goal there too. So again, I think he's always going to ask for the ball there because that's what Arteta is asking you to do based on the system. But we need to be smarter, and we just weren't. He's kind of a liability in certain respects because if he can't get it to his left foot, he has to take extra touches. And I think just his lack of mobility and agility is an issue when you have somebody you're trying to play out of the back. You need to be more agile. He's not press resistant. So, and Burnley recognized that and took advantage. I'm gonna give him a 3. Just under Leno. Yeah, because I wanted, he's just bad. I could give him a 2. I could give him a 3. It's all the same. You're a bad buddy. Sorry.
Yeah.
No.
Thomas Partey.
Okay, so Thomas, here's the deal with Thomas at this point for me is that I expect when you're there for you to dominate the space, and you did that for about 20 minutes, where Burnley was not really in that game because we were dominating the midfield, and then once Saka missed the chance, we dropped off, and Burnley started to take control of the midfield, and that's a problem for me. He was sloppy on the ball, but everybody was sloppy. But still, you're a world-class midfielder. You need to do better than that. Besides the pass to Aubameyang over the top, he really didn't do enough for me. We're talking about a $45 million player. I know he's coming off of an injury, so I'm going to give him grace on that. But I think he was pretty freaking average today. So he's going to get an average, he's going to get an average score. I'm going to give him a 4 just because I expect more. And what we have to understand about these player ratings, it's not about how many mistakes you made. It's about how many good things you did as well. And if you didn't do anything, if you were invisible or you didn't enforce yourself on the game, like you didn't push to be a part of it, that's just as egregious to me as making an error. We're paying a lot of money for this midfielder. So at some point I expect him he's not going to get as much grace from me because I know what kind of player he is. So yeah, 4, just below average for his standards. Sorry. You can't play 20 good minutes and just drop off completely.
Yeah. I'm with you on the 4. It's a below average performance from him, period. It's not even necessarily for me. It's not even necessarily the level that I expect to see him at. To me, he was below average today. He was below average. It was not good passing the ball. He's had time back from the injury now. I'm not going to cut him any slack on that. it was just everybody was pretty miserable today, to be honest with you. It's starting with the midfield moving forward. Everybody was pretty miserable today. I'm gonna give Thomas Partey a 4. Moving out to the right wing, Bukayo Saka. I actually thought that he should have come off before Odegaard. The miss that he had, you're gonna have those. All right, it was a tough angle. She just every now and then just turns up and just looks at you. Wait a minute, let me do it that way, because now it looks like I'm actually looking at you. She does, she just you're talking and she'll just turn her head, just look up and just be like, oh.
She's really silly, this girl here.
But no, Bukayo Saka for me, he was dangerous in the first 30 minutes. That miss and the air started seeping out at that point from everybody. The challenge where he got the red or got the yellow card, that's like, what are you doing, man? Like, you're not even trying to play the ball. You're just going in. You're just, body checking somebody. So, man, I mean, I love him. He's our star boy, our little chili, but dude gets a 4 from me today. It just wasn't really there. Other than that miss, he had some moments, but man, oh man, he gets a 5 because when he did get the ball deep in their end. He in the final third, he did look dangerous. I'm gonna give him a 5. So 4 is a bit harsh. I'll give him a 5.
I think that you don't just lose games because of what the defenders do. You lose games because of the offensive players not putting away their chances. And for me, I think as Arsenal fans, we have to start looking at missed chances as individual errors as well. I love Saka, but he's no longer a 19-year-old coming out of the academy. He's one of our best players. And if that's Aubameyang, you expect him to put that away. If that's Pepe, you expect him to put that away. I mean, I saw such harsh, Pepe missed his chance from the Tierney cross, and he's 72 million. He's Gervinho now. Is Saka Gervinho? Because the chance that he missed that went just wide, he should be burying that. And it's just like the Wolves game. He was in on goal, didn't bury it. Those are individual errors as well. We just don't think about it that way. You pay your offensive players the big bucks for a reason, because you need to score goals. That's how you win games.
Yep.
So I love Saka. I think after he moved back a little bit and started playing more of that midfielder role, he was a little bit more influential, especially when Pepe came on and Lacazette came on. But he was just not on it today. The fouls were just stupid, So I'm actually going to give him a 4, because as much as I love him, he has to put those chances away. And it's an individual error for me. If we're 2-0 up, I mean, Burnley doesn't score more than a goal a game. We win that game.
Right.
So sorry.
Yeah.
4.
Martin Odegaard.
Casper. Absolute Casper. And when I did I did a preview and I said, this is not a game for Martin Odegaard. It's not. I know that we don't have any options because of Emile Smith-Rowe, but this is not a game that he'll do well in. It's a classic Ozil type performance against Burnley away. I don't want to get hit. I'm not going to get stuck in. There's chances for him to look for the ball, try to find pockets of space for Xhaka and Thomas to find him. And he just kind of stood there, and we can't just give scores because they were out there and they didn't make any mistakes. Not being involved is a mistake, period.
Yeah.
You have to get involved in these games. And I think there was just too many passengers today, to be honest. Everybody was a passenger waiting on somebody else to do it. Saka missed his chances, so whatever. He had that nice little pullback to Thomas Partey, but other than that, he was Casper. 4 for me, just below average.
Yeah, below average. Yep, he gets a 4 from me. He did have a couple of nice. He did have a couple of nice moves in the first half, and that's when everybody was switched on. We were switched on once. Leading up to Aubameyang's goal and for about 5 minutes afterwards, we were switched on, and he was one of those players who was switched on. But that said, it's you don't get credit for it just being it's not an 8-minute game. It's 90 minutes, and he was absent for most of it. So yeah, it's a 4 from me. Willian,
you're gonna go first, right? Give me 1 second. I'll be
no worries. Willian out on the left. Boy, I know a lot of people are going to really, really, just kind of tear him apart. Just because he's low hanging fruit, really. But for me, Willian is going to get a 5. He was average. He had flashes here and there, but it wasn't anything special. The only thing I can say is he tracked back well when needed defensively, but beyond that, average. I didn't think he had a horrible game. I'm giving him a 5, and that I know people are going to think that maybe that's harsh. It's not. He didn't have a bad game. He just didn't have a good game either. He was just average. He's a 5.
Yeah. She wants to go in and out of this door. It's really annoying.
Of course she does.
So basically with Willian, I just think that you can't just play one good game and then go back to who you were before.
Right. Yeah.
And you're an experienced player in the Premier League that's getting minutes over somebody who's been in good form, Pepe. And so you need to show that. I mean, I expect you to increase the tempo, increase the temperature, make a difference, get involved, make sure that you're involved in this game. And he just didn't do it. He deserved to be taken off. I would give him a 4 as well, just below average. I don't even think he was average. I think he was below average, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aubameyang,
I think, in this game, it wasn't suitable for him because he couldn't hold the ball. He couldn't really do anything with those center backs with Tarkovsky and me. They were always going to bully him off the ball. In the beginning, when we were switched on, he was trying to get the ball. You could tell that he was trying to move, put his body in the way and all that kind of stuff. But obviously, because he was unsuccessful, it started to drop off more and more. But he got the goal. He did his job, so I can't be upset about that. This was not a game. I think once we made the subs, we saw this was a game for Odegaard and Aubameyang. In my preview, I said you need to play Lacazette, Pepe, and Saka for this exact reason, because we need to be able to get fouls. We need somebody that can hold the ball. And we didn't have enough scoring, not enough scorers. It just was dead. So for me, I'm not going to be that harsh on Aubameyang. I'm going to give him a 7 because he did his job, right? He scored the goal.
Yeah.
Excuse
me. For me, it's a 6. He got the goal, but he was utterly, like you said about Odegaard, Casper. That was Aubameyang in the second half. 2 touches. 2. Now, not a game for him. Fair. But you're in there, so do something. Get the ball. So figure it out. Somehow or other, get yourself into the game. It's a 6 for me because he did get the goal. But man, oh man, second half, he just disappeared. He took a break. He may as well have just been standing in the corner reading the newspaper. So, subs. Who came on first? Odegaard went
Lacazette
off.
came on first.
For
Lacazette.
Odegaard, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lacazette came on for Odegaard. So, Lacazette, man, he average. Just he didn't do anything.
I thought he won us some fouls, though. I mean, I know
he did. He did.
He won us some fouls. He got us up the pitch. I mean, do you think it was more based on him or based on just the fact that the team was playing crap?
I think I think it's the team. I think the air came out of us when we conceded the goal. When we gave them the goal. When we scored the goal for them. The air just, as I said before, when the air started to come out of us when Saka missed that shot and it went wide, that was the puncture in the tire. When Xhaka, hit the ball into the net off Chris Wood's chest or his hip or whatever it was, that came. That's a full-fledged blowout right there. So Laka, 6. I don't want to be too harsh on him. But, I put it down to, the rest of the team around him, not really him, but I give him a 6.
Yeah, I just ultimately think Lacazette, he tries really hard. And I know that some people are like, but we need goals. But I think the way that he connected with Pepe on that right-hand side was really all we had in terms of, moving the Burnley players around in that second half. Like the left side was so dead. Like they just weren't doing anything. And Tierney would just get it and cross it in. But Pepe was kind of like a menace on that side. And I think that was a little bit because of Lacazette trying to be involved in the game. He's just not the type of striker that we need because he doesn't add enough goals, but I just think the team was playing crap. So what could he really do? So I would give him a 6-2. I'm just kind of based on that,
Yeah. Next sub was Pepe for Willian. Yeah, Pepe for Willian.
Pepe, had he finished his chance, would have gotten probably a 9 from me because he did exactly what you want a sub to do, is to change the game. Before he came on, nothing was happening. Nothing. He had the 2 chances. One of them should have been a penalty, the first one. Then he had another one that I think they cleared it off the line and it went off of his shoulder. And then he had the miss. But before that, we weren't even getting into their box. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, that's what you want from if we get the penalty, we have a completely different conversation if we bury it also about the way that Pepe changed this game. He needs to be starting more matches because he's actually trying. Whereas I don't know why Willian started today's game, but you could see it from a mile away that it was coming. I'm giving Pepe a 7 because, again, he would have gotten a 9 for me if he had finished one of those chances or gotten the penalty. Because he did exactly what you're supposed to do as a sub. Change the game. Change the temperature, the speed, the tempo to something,
So it's a 6 for me because of everything you just said. If he finishes those chances. If he finishes any one of those chances. Now, the handball, we'll get into that in a minute. That's a chance that he should have at least been rewarded for with a penalty. But the miss off the Tierney cross is just, I could have hit that. How did you miss? That's, that's literally Lucy taking the football and pulling it out from under Charlie Brown. Like he just, I'm serious. I don't know how he missed. But yeah, it's a 6. It's a 6 for me. You're 72 million pounds. You can't afford to miss that. I'm sorry. You just can't afford to miss that. That's the one for me. The one that goes off of Peter's shoulder that's just bad luck, I think.
Yeah. That's that's a goal, but those are like goals, like game saving interventions from them. Yeah. But that's a goal. Like that ball's
going in because you see when it hits off Peter's shoulder, it goes up and hits the bar. It comes straight down. But if Peter doesn't get his shoulder on it, that ball's going through the roof.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely a goal. He scored that if Peters doesn't get his shoulder on it.
Yeah. So. And I may be like, I think with Aubameyang and Pepe in this game, I think I'm being generous, but I just feel like they did what they were supposed to do in terms of one scoring the goal and the other one changing the game. So maybe they could have both been 6s in another day if I'm not feeling so generous, but I think Pepe did what we wanted him to do coming off of the bench for a long time. But he should have started this game, period, for me.
Fair.
Sorry.
No. Danny Ceballos.
NA, he would have got one of those for me. He didn't really do anything.
Yeah, nothing really gets a 5 for me. It's just average. He didn't do anything. I think he made one nice run in stoppage time.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
It's a 5. It's average.
Yeah.
All right, we got to peel some layers back here because Arteta. You want me to go or you want to go?
I'll start just because I know we're not going to agree on this. If you don't finish your chances, it doesn't matter, so nobody was complaining about the lineup really before the game started. In hindsight, we all have these he should have. But that team should beat Burnley. He set up the team to create chances. We didn't finish them. We've been playing out of the back for the last 2 years. And I would really task some people that feel like playing out of the back is costing us, to find all the goals since Arteta has been there that have been because of us playing out of the back, and all of the goals that we have scored because we play out of the back. That's how we play. That's how we score goals. The problem is the individual errors. The only thing that I'll dock him for in this game is probably Xhaka probably needed a rest. He's probably the player that needed a rest. I think if he's rested, he doesn't make that mistake, but he's been playing so many minutes and Arteta had an opportunity to rest him and he didn't. But besides that, I really want to know how many goals we've had scored on us because we've made mistakes from passing the ball out of the back, and look at most of the goals that we score because we pass out of the back. It's part of the way that we play. He set up the team to win the game and they just didn't do it. Saka finishes his chances. We're not talking about this. Like Pepe finishes his chance. We're not talking about this. So I don't know. I mean, picking Xhaka, maybe we can beat him over the head with that, but he's been playing well for the last couple games. So I don't really know. So for me, he made changes sooner rather than later. I mean, in-game management, who was he supposed to bring on? I mean, he brought on Lacazette, Pepe, and Ceballos. I mean, what else? Martinelli, what is Martinelli going to do in that game? So the execution from the players was poor. And that's pretty much it. You know, what else? I don't know. I'm going to give him a 6 because we didn't win it. But I think it's really harsh to say that, like, this was Arteta's fault. Leno and Xhaka are idiots. That's why we lost the game. And we didn't put our chances away.
I was critical of Arteta after a win. And that was the second leg against Benfica. I was very critical of him. And I think I may have said this last week, or maybe it was Benfica when we did the player ratings, but I give you credit for this because you're the one that first said it to me, was footballing IQ. And as a team, we're pretty low on that. Mm-hmm. And here's where Arteta loses. In this game specifically, I'm going to give him a 5. I don't think he did anything wrong. We can second guess ourselves. Should Pepe have started over Willian? But Willian had a couple of good games here now. Yeah. And you want to get a rotation going. You want some guys. So starting Pepe over Willian. Xhaka, does he need a rest? I mean, does he need a rest?
I mean, I'm nitpicking.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
If I have to nitpick,
we're splitting hairs here. Arteta didn't do anything wrong today. It's what he's doing overall for me. But today he gets a 5. But for me, overall, this style of play does not suit these players, and that is where Arteta's losing me. Because he's insisting on something that doesn't work. And your point is well taken. The goals that we've scored, I had somebody say to me, what about the goals that we scored against Man City and then in the FA Cup? And I said, what? All 3 of them? Excuse me, 4. Now, in that specific instance, okay, 4. But we've conceded goals from this before. Playing out from the back this way. And the fact is that when we literally play across our back line, with the exception of 2 goals in the FA Cup, in the run through the FA Cup, this system it's just not good. We lose possession. We're not good enough to maintain that level of possession all the time. We're not Manchester City. When this team is the most dangerous, when you go back and you look at the chances and you look at the majority of the goals that are scored, you could say the play started way back there. Well, of course, the play started way back there because that's where we got the ball. That's where we attained possession of the ball. But it comes from quick, direct play. And it works because that's what we have. We have pacey players. That's what they're good at. That's the one thing that can't be coached against. And it can't be taught. You can't teach speed, and you really can't coach against it. Play that way. Play direct and quick. When you get in the team that you want to get in, and we've heard now this week that he wants to bring in 6 players, 5 to 6 players this summer. Okay, I hope they have what you call a high footballing IQ because that's what his system demands. For me, the mark of a good coach, and I've said this before, is being able to adapt to the situation. And the situation that he has is players who are not blessed with a high footballing IQ. Granit Xhaka and Burnley today are prime examples of that. Burnley, just clear the line, man. Just boot that ball deep. Seriously, like if you're going to lose possession, lose it up there. Lose it up there. Make them go 50 yards, 60 yards. Don't do that. So Arteta, I had to go off on a rant there. Arteta, I got asked in the post-game show, under any circumstances would I get rid of Arteta before the end of this season? Short of a mutiny, no. Short of the players rising up and publicly saying we're not going to play for this manager, no, I don't sack Arteta. And I give him the summer, quite frankly. Unless the results between now and the end of the season are that bad, I give him the summer and into next season. But he has to find those players with the high footballing IQ if this is the style of football that he wants to play. And I'll just say I'm not particularly a fan of watching side to side, backward, forward, side, back, side, forward. That's not for me. Get the ball up. You ain't going to score from back there. Get the ball up there. That's all I have to say on the matter. I don't know if you want to rebut me or not.
I mean, I just don't really agree because I think we play based on the opponents and we score in different ways. We've played direct
we do.
counterattacking football. We've played methodical, slow. That's how we played against Benfica in the second leg. But against Leicester, we were pinging the ball around quickly. I just think we have different ways. He's layered in different ways for us to score goals and different ways for us to win. And I just have to chalk this up to individual errors. We've been playing out of the back the entire time that Arteta's been here. And quite frankly, everybody plays out of the back, even shitty teams like Burnley and most of these teams, Sheffield, they all play out of the back because that's just what we do. Everybody plays out of the back. I have not seen a team in the Premier League that does not. Even the worst teams, even Southampton, they play out of the back. The difference is that I really want somebody to pull up all the goals since Arteta has been a manager that have been directly because we made a mistake like we did today. It hasn't been that. Literally a few, 3, 4, maybe. The goal that we scored today was because we built up out of the back as well. So it's a part of.
See, I think it's both. The play started back there, but it was quick. We moved that ball upfield quickly.
But didn't we play quick against Leicester?
Yeah,
and whose game plan was that? Did that come out of the air, or was it Arteta's game plan?
But my to me, what I'm saying is I think that is. See, I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know because I see that, but then I see the exact opposite of trying to this slow, methodical buildup. So because people, if they sit back like against Benfica in the second leg, they just sat in a low block. So we had to do that. We had to play that way. You can't play over the top if there's no space. No. Today, no. I don't want to play over the top. I don't want to play over the top. Everybody
you can't play fast. You can't play fast if all the players are behind the ball because you're only playing fast to move the pieces around. I really think that the team was just crap today. They were just crap today. And had we just put our chances away, I mean,
we're not talking about this.
Yeah,
and you know what? That'll segue into Andre Mariner and our not so best friend. Kevin Friend, who was the VAR official today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, seriously, I like no more English refs. Like, I don't care if you're from the country. No more. I don't care. I'm done with this. This is now, I've said this before. We're at a point now where someone seriously needs to open an investigation completely separate, completely unrelated. Just somebody has to do this because it's not even Arsenal. Like, it's not even just us. I mean, it is us, but it's not even us that are getting these. I mean, Fulham on Thursday against the Scum. That's a handball. That's a handball. The dude could have cut his arm off, and it was going to be a handball. That's just what they're going to call. You could clearly see that there is bias here. They are picking and choosing situations where they want to apply the rule and situations where they want to look the other way. That's handball today. That's a goddamn handball today. I don't care how you cut it. I don't care how you try to reason it. It's a handball.
Yeah.
And when the Premier League comes out and says he got it wrong, and we're going to hear at some point this week, someone from the Premier League is going to come out, or the FA is going to come out and say, that's a handball. We got the call wrong. Well, thanks a lot. That does me a whole hell of a lot of good. So you know what? Let's get back up to Burnley. Let's get our kits on, and let's go out there, and let's have the penalty kick. And if we convert it, we win. And you give us all 3 points. I know that'll never happen, and I'm crazy for even suggesting it, but they cost Aston Villa and Bournemouth positions in the league last year. Aston Villa stayed up. Bournemouth, they caused a team to get relegated last year with this. This is money now. Where are the owners in this? The owners of the clubs need to step up, go to the FA and say, you know what? They need to go. The referees, get them out of here. I want new referees, not English referees. I want Spanish referees. I want Italian referees. I want German Give me German referees. Just go get me everybody that's in the Bundesliga too. Go get me those officials and bring them over here. Those are the guys that I want right now. The owners of these clubs need to band together and step up to the plate and say, you're costing us money by with this crap.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I agree.
You get a 0? No, you don't get it. You get a 1. You get a 1. 0 implies not applicable. You get a 1.
I don't know what's going on, and it's just silly. VAR works correctly for the first time in our game, and it also makes an egregious error in our game. I think obviously, the Burnley one wasn't a red card and a penalty because it hit him on the shoulder.
Right.
So that's how VAR is supposed to work. Yep. But again, I mean, he had 2 handballs in one play and didn't get called for it. And I don't know if they're confused about the rules or they just don't like to do their job, but they're costing teams points and it's a joke. I don't think we can't rest on the fact that the refs did us wrong or whatever in this game. We were crap, but we deserve to get the penalty based on the rules, so I'm done with it. A negative 1,000 for the ref. Like, I'm just tired of talking about these same things over and over and over again,
Yep.
Aren't you belly?
That's the only thing that'll make me feel better today is the dogs. So that's it for us. Good show. We went about, we're pushing 45 minutes here, but that's my fault. I had my rant about Arteta and my tirade on the ref. So good stuff. I guess we'll do it again on Thursday after Olympiacos.
Yes, against Olympiacos. Hopefully we're talking about a win.
Yeah. And a comprehensive win would be nice. Put this thing to bed early. I don't really want to have to worry about things in the second leg. Shout everything out where you're at.
Yeah, so again, you guys can follow me at It's Jessinho, and then the post-match show, I'm going to have MK from Arsenal Los Angeles. They actually gave me this really cool t-shirt. I know you guys can't really see it, but Arsenal Los Angeles is a really cool group out here that does like watch-alongs and fun things for Arsenal fans in Los Angeles. So MK will be on the show, and it'll be on Monday at 7 p.m. UK. So look out for that.
That's 2 p.m. East Coast. That is 11 a.m. West Coast. That comes up on Monday. Good stuff. Appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, I guess we'll see you for Olympiacos. Good footy talk. See you out there.